And 5 minutes early to definitely annoy Marichin. We are streaming. Also, I don't believe I said any of the delays or anything else like that, so there's probably going to be the usual 20-30 second delay on things. So, in any case, we will begin by saying, hi, how are you doing? This game has gotten a bit insane recently, but I like what they're doing with it so far, even if there are certain things that we wish they hadn't done, but ultimately they're a business, they've got to earn money somehow, but yeah. Unfortunately, as you can tell by that, I've also paid them, so yeah. I can't really bitch too much about microtransactions and things like that. The fact that it is I've used them. But hey. It does get you into the draft modes, which are cool, and you get the cards at the end digitally, but basically same sort of rules as Magic the Gathering Online, whatever it is. So, I haven't played in a couple of days, so we have a few quests to do, including our daily win totals, and I've still got some booster packs to earn for this week. So, when we last left off, I was basically using the 10 starter decks with some cards I had added in to try and make the decks somewhat more playable. Yeah. I think I've got 2 of the original ones left, River Heralds and Journey to Eternity, which I've made... Actually, that's not... No, that's a different deck, actually. That's just got the same sort of Wildgrowth Walker back theme going on, because this is the first deck I properly upgraded. But anyway, we'll go through the decks and I'll explain why I like them or why I don't particularly. So this is the best I can do with Merfolk right now. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of Merfolk. I'm really not. They're aggressive, they get out the blocks quick, but they get shut down too easily with most of the decks that are currently around. So, yeah, that's why it's at the bottom of the list. It's sort of rough order of when I've adjusted them. So the things I was trying to build more recently are up in the top left. So we now have blue-white auras. This was my attempt to try and make an alternative to the typical white-blue aura deck, which, I mean, I had Captain Lannery Storm. It gave me Arncrop Crashers. I didn't have a lot of them by the look of this when I was originally building this. Gives access to removal. There's a few good blue pump spells. Soulscar Mage, Zeal, some removal. I thought it was an okay thing with maybe a Enigma Drake and Blood Wars Entity as the top end. I think I had to use a red-blue deck for one of the challenges, and this is what I kind of tried to make work with it. Lucked into 2 wins, and we called it a day there. Journey to Eternity. This is probably the most fun deck I had before they put gems in, and then suddenly everybody was running top-tier decks. But this thing is quite good. I'm still kind of in the process of upgrading it. We've added Vraska's Contents and things in. But effectively, this deck relies on 2 things. It relies on Golden Guardian to make a load of tokens, and it relies on Journey Eternity to basically rely on a creature every turn. And it gets into a weird sort of lock state where I just make more creatures than the opponent can output. And then I've got a few big win cards to just help out things. I think 1 Vraska. I now have more than 1 Vraska, which shows I haven't upgraded this in a while, but hey. Naya Dinos. So this was a slight upgrade to the 2-color Dino deck. We've added the whites because I got 2 Trapdoor Tyrants randomly. We also have Gisholf, the Sun's Avatar. Golter, because we like Golter. And again, kind of not optimized, but, you know, I've got quite a lot of commons and uncommon slots now that I can just use and make cheap decks, but most of my rares and mythics were spent on certain other decks towards the top. But Dinos is still a thing. Dinos are still reasonably cool. This is, I think, the first deck I tried to build out of Dominaria. And it kind of works, but it's a bit reliant on certain draws. So, this is basically red-blue historic. So, Juris Familiar reduces the cost of anything that is a legendary creature, i.e. has this border, any planeswalkers, i.e. these things, and also any artifacts. Awaken Descendant was also my alternate win condition just because of all the one-of utility lands that I'm running in this darn deck. Also Torment Hellfire. I don't know if that's good or not. I just had a spare slot and couldn't find a decent artifact to put in. It actually works better than you'd think it does, but it's definitely suffering from the casual deck mentality here. And I've accidentally removed that, which I didn't want to do. Yeah, I normally have it the other configuration. I just figured this would be slightly easier for showing it. We're going to discard the changes, though. We're not going to bother with that deck today. 4-color control. So this is the first deck that I kind of built that was good. So effectively, this is just a lot of big stuff at the back and enough removal and counter spells to survive that long. It works reasonably well, but again, this was at the point where I didn't have a stack of rares and mythics to use. This is me just using up things I happen to have. It works okay. Free Scarab Gods help, and it does do what it wants to do, especially if you get Moldrova out and can suddenly start reusing treasure maps, kite sails, counter spells. Not that you can use counter spells actually, because it's something during your turn, but it's quite a cool little deck. I've pulled off some wins with it. But this is probably the deck I've used the most since Dominaria came out. This is a deck I actually have, and is my current deck in Standard at the moment, which is Blue-White Auras. Obviously, I don't have any of the Armankets, not Armankets, Kaladesh stuff, but most of the deck isn't based on that. I think there's only a couple of cards which you'd probably replace out there. Again, not terribly optimized. I do have more Gideons than that, actually, but Gideon's sort of the overall blocking thing. On Sarah's Wings is the only Dominaria card, particularly, other than Danifer, who basically is a replacement Sram, but not as good, because Sram only costs 2. But still, it works reasonably well. It's quite nice and aggressive. It gets to ascend quickly for Snubborn and Sky Marshal, and I realize I'm running free of everything. It's just a habit that I tended to do when I was getting around with this. Yeah, I'm really bad at building decks, really, I'll be honest. It's a weakness of mine. This thing is ridiculous, and it's probably the deck I'm going to start playing with in a moment. So this is Saplings. Effectively, it's just ramp into Sapling Migration, Grow from the Ashes, lots of more ramp spells, Anointed Procession, which is the token doubler, and then playing a 10-shoot Dryad and winning the game on the spot some of the time. We also have a few extra cards. Shalai basically gives a protection to our Tender Shoot, which is quite nice for turn before. We have plenty of ways of making additional saplings, and of course we have Spore Crown Phalid, who basically pumps all of our dorks. So, we're going to play that first. We have to cast green and white spells, and we'll go through the rest of this in a little bit. This is fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. We'll start with saplings. And see if we can get a game in. We have to kill some creatures, which is a little difficult with this deck, but hey, we'll see what we can do. Sorry, just making sure of things. Okay, so we're up against a new player. So that's sort of a symbol for a player who has just begun, hasn't got to bronze rank yet. So this is probably going to be against a beginner deck, unfortunately, which is not the best way to show off things. And likely means I'm going to feel a bit mean after this. Also, if he beats me, well, we'll just get on to that if that happens. We're going first, and we have a reasonable hand. We have Ramp, we have a first sapling spell, we have a second sapling spell, and we have something that can search out additional lands or stuff. Okay, so Forest Llanowar Elves is the standard power play, so now we can play a free drop on turn 2. Not that we have one. And he's playing Vampires. Okay, so we can play Sapling Migration here and then go Adventurous Impulse. I don't really want to attack into that with my Llanowar Elf anyway, so we're going to Adventurous Impulse, find another land. Okay, got us some options though. So I can actually go double Spore Crown Phalid next turn, which has some advantages. Because one of the big removal fit spells that hurts this deck is... I forget the name of it now. It's -2/-2 to everybody. He needs 2 black to do it, but... magical indeed! Yeah, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go for Spore Crown Phalid number 1, and Spore Crown Phalid number 2. Attack for 6. So, this is already a ridiculous board state to have against him. We have the ability to create saplings at instant speed, and it's the starter deck, so that's unfortunately not a lot of skill shown, just that's the power of that deck. Also, I have packs I've not opened. Oh yeah, because I just won. Open up, and we get... Squee the Immortal! We like Squee the Immortal. Not going to use it. Alright, so that's saplings, but I think I'll play that one more time, because I didn't really get to show off a lot. And we definitely can't kill creatures with this deck. Nonetheless, he's willing to trade. Okay, so come on. Somebody who's not a beginner player. Bronze 2, so he's played a little bit. He might be... I got stuck in bronze for a long time, actually. So he's not necessarily a bad player. And, of course, you can always pay to win in this game, so rank's less of an indicator of things. We'll see, though. This is a dodgy hand, but we can go Spore Crown Phalid, Spore Crown Phalid. Actually, we can go Spore Crown Phalid, Grow from Ashes if we get a third land. Then double Spore Crown Phalid. So I think we're going to keep that, even though it's a bit silly. We need to draw another land quite rapidly. But for now, we can crack this, gain our forest, thin the deck out. And it won't cost us too much, depending on what our opponent's playing. Blue, Control X. Okay. If we don't draw another land, there is regret. The only plus point is I at least have things I can do with these. So is this going to be blue-black control, or... This is actually Merfolk. Okay, but Merfolk's okay. Provided we get a land, Merfolk don't worry me. We did not get a land. However, we have backup plan of just beat down with free Phalids. We can outrace them as long as we draw another land. Because we can go Grow from Ashes into Slimefoot. Slimefoot's quite good. He basically kills the opponent as they kill our creatures, which is nice. Second Silvergill, revealing a Forerunner. I guess that Forerunner off we're in trouble because he can play the one that pumps all the Merfolk, and then we're in real trouble from there. Quite aside from all the +1/+1 counters. If this was the 2-mana spell rather than the 4-mana, we'd probably be okay. Alright, I'm going to block that just on the basis that he's either bluffing or he has the Unsummon. He doesn't have anything else that can help. Unsummons the other one, trades. Okay, that's fine. I am perfectly okay with that because guess what? I have more. And I'm still not drawing lands. But I am getting to my green cast. I've got to cast 30 green or white spells. We got plenty of green spells out of these 2-man. And we're still on 20 life, so it's not as if... Well, he can play Herald, he can play Forerunner, and then it's very difficult for me to win from there. That's also not helpful. We're not going to block. No attacks. This hand was so good if we got that third one. Because I didn't have 4 mana, I'd be going into Spore Swarm with 2 or 3 pumping abilities. I'd be basically outswarming them, which is what Merfolk want to be doing most of the time. From here, I don't think we win. Best thing I can draw right now, actually, is my fourth rather, Spore Crown Phalid. I'm surprised you did it that way around if you're going to play the Forerunner, because you can play the Forerunner, play the Mist Herald, pump that to a 5/4. Actually, not that one, but you can pump your Silvergill at least. Seagate Oracle means he's going to be outdrawing me shortly. Badly need a land off the top. Land off the top. Okay, we're in game on. Grow from the Ashes. Grab our white source. No attacks. So he's now going to play the one that gives him the ability to just draw a bunch of cards, and unfortunately we may have to let him. I may have to pass after this one, play Spore Swarm in response. See how this goes. That's going to be a problem for me now. Tap for 2. Because I can trade and deal with one of those, but then it does kill both. I can trade with a Menagerie if I wanted to here, or I could just take 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I've got to take 9 for the moment. I'm going to let him believe he can win this, and he might well be able to regardless of what I do here, but the correct play has almost certainly got to be... wait. So we're going to do nothing. We're going to let him swing for game. And then we're going to see what we can actually do to fix the situation from there. He may not swing for game, actually. Depends how he's feeling. He'd almost certainly play another Forerunner. And we still need to kill this Mistcloak Herald. But I've got ways to potentially get out to out-accelerate him here, so... the second Seagate Oracle is not good. Resolve. I also have not been yielding control, so he knows we have something we can cast. Alright, let's see what you do. If he goes all out, I think we do blow him out. Yeah, this could be a blowout here. The important thing is that our Spore Swarms are going to be free freeze. Unfortunately, I can't block 2 of the damage, but... if he's got a counter spell, though, that does end it, but... yeah, that's game. We're not going to win. Not going to win at that point. And there was always the risk of not playing it when we had the opportunity. He was tapped out on our turn, but I wanted to try and surprise him because if that had paid off, we could have traded with some of his big guys. We'd have still had the the unblockables to worry about, but okay. Well, that's annoying. So it's showing off how it can just win instantly and how it didn't work. It hasn't actually shown off his main trick yet, which is annoying. So we're going to move on to this deck, which is probably the most fun casual deck I've built out of this lot. This is Wizards. And I actually meant to go and show that deck off rather than just go straight into here. So, Wizards. This deck is pretty much built solidly around the Bean Dean of Iteration, which is why we're running 4. He's a legendary creature, so we can't have 2 of them out in the field at once. Nevertheless, if a wizard entering the battlefield under your control causes an ability to trigger, that ability triggers twice. So, this is a Merfolk Wizard that draws a card when it comes into play, so if we have a Dean of Iteration, he draws us 2 cards. Merfolk Trickster can come into play on our opponent's turn if we wish, taps a creature and makes it lose all abilities, which includes things like Indestructible and Flying and a few other things. But also it's a wizard, so it does it to 2 things. Champion of Wits. I wish I had a couple more of these in all honesty. I do have another rare, so I can buy at least 1 more if I wanted. But yeah, comes in, draws 2 cards, discards 2 cards, which I do twice. Water Trap Weaver, pretty much the same as the Trickster, except this does the other effect of locking the thing down, so it doesn't untap during the next turn. Can't be played at instant speed, though. Wizard's Retort, we're playing all the wizards, so 2 mana counterspell. Riverwise Augur is a little... and it's good, but normally it's not doing a lot by itself when it gets out here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of other good blue wizards. So this just draws 3 cards, put 2s back on top of the deck, does it twice, so we effectively see 4 cards. But it's fine, it gets us an extra 2. Narumeha, Master Wizard. Flash copies an instant or sorcery, which isn't too relevant, but it's another wizard, and potentially I can copy Opt twice. Unfortunately, I have to pay for them. Actually, do I have to? Instant or sorcery spell you control, so it has to be on the stack. So I have to basically play Opt, then play Narumeha, make basically Opt 3 times at that point. Vizier of Many Faces can come into play and copy any creature, which does copy the come into play effect as well, so we can copy anything that's already in play. Karn is just good, general card really, can't argue with Karn. Academy Journey Mage is good. Commit to Memory is a pretty much only removal spell of any real note. Karn Temporal Summoning, River's Rebuke, Nuzzle, and a basic land base of 22 cards. So, I've had some mild success with this, but I am under no illusions that it's a good deck. It's not, but it does have to do some fun things. If I had a more reliable way of getting the bean out, it would be perfect, but we'll see. We'll see. So, we're up against another silver player. And The opponents will go first. Okay, so we've got Nabeen in our opening hand, which is nice. We've also got a counter spell coming up, so we're okay with this. Provided he doesn't kill Nabeen somehow. And he's playing a card that immediately kills Nabeen. This is annoying. So this is probably the best deck in the format. Mono red aggro. And there's not a lot we can do against mono red aggro. In fact, the best thing I can do is just move in, kill this Firebrand next turn. Next turn, go for Nabeen plus something. Because I can't really do a lot against this right now. Unless he has a bad draw. If we just play this, we lose. We can't even resist retort here. Uncrop, okay. Had to do it that way round because we need Nabeen to be alive in order for our deck to work. And unfortunately, there's probably not much point in holding back against this deck, although it might make him think twice. At least force him to use Uncrop. But I feel this is a losing match from here. Yeah. He's just running so many quick removal spells. He can now dodge this, swing for 5. I don't have a lot to answer this either. Yeah, Kenra. Swing for 7. Oh, just hold on. Don't misread how this works. Oh no, he just can't block. Yeah, we're out. I mean, we can make something unblockable. We can't block 4. So that's pretty much game. And that's the best deck in the format. I, of course, do not play the best deck in the format. Alright. One more game with Wizards, and then we'll see how we go from here. Then we'll move on to probably my favourite deck I've built. It's kind of terrible. It's honestly kind of terrible. But the amount of good matches I've gotten out of it. Okay, rank 4 bronze player. So either a relative beginner or he's just paid to win. He might be both, but... we got there. Okay, this is fine. So we got turn 1 Opt, turn 2 Nabeen, turn 3 Silvergill double draw. He's unfortunately playing some form of red deck. Do I keep the counter spell? Turn 2 Nabeen, turn 3 do that. I think we get rid of the counter spell for now, because I probably need some other stuff. Opt is fine, because that gives me something else to do with Silvergill on the Silvergill turn. Alright, Pirates, I think. Yeah. So he's playing basically the starter deck for Pirates, with probably a few upgrades here. We, however, are going to play Nabeen. He does have removal spells. We'll see whether he wants to use one on here. The deck can function without Nabeen, but... or Naban. He's Naban the Dean. That's why I get that confused rolling around. Apologies. Naban the Dean, however, does make this deck work a lot better. Forerunner of the Coalition. So he can now search for a pirate, put it on top, and I lose a life whenever a pirate enters the battlefield now. Question is, will he want to attack? He might not want to attack at this point. Depends. I won't block because this is important to my game plan, and we need to Silvergill next turn. So, searching for a pirate. The good news is, this means he's not drawing anything new, so probably not drawing a removement spell, probably not drawing a thing. Yeah, Fathom Fleet Captain's quite good. We don't have a lot of ways of dealing with that either. Okay, so islands, we're going to go Silvergill Adept. And we will reveal a Merfolk in our hand. Because we're running so many Merfolk, it's very rare for that to just brick on us. Combat, attacks. Oh, actually, we don't want to attack that. That's a silly idea. We're not going to attack. End turn. We can opt during their turn. Maybe keep a cancel or something, but we don't have a cancel to put up anyway, so... Next turn, we potentially have Merfolk Trickster and Counterspell, which, again, might have been an argument for keeping it. Or we can go Riverwise. Which I'm getting the feeling is not worth it in this deck, in all honesty. So he's got to pay 2 to make that. We're going to opt in response. Khan's good. Okay, Khan is good. We can play Khan, get a plus, do something. I'm kind of okay with throwing a creature into this, so we're going to block there. The other advantage is we can next turn Merfolk Trickster and just kill this fleet captain off. That's fine. He had the combat trick and he used it on something we don't care too much about. So we are going to... Yeah, I think we're just going to end the turn here. Tempting to just play Khan, but I feel that the trick is better. That's annoying. Yeah, resolve that. We had a spare, so it's not the end of the world. Response to that, we will Merfolk Trickster. Unfortunately, we can't block that, but we can block this. Down to 10. Okay, so next up, turn over the ban. Go down as 4 and might, and that turn we then have Riverwise All going to get us out of here. Nah, that's game. I have a feeling that is definitely game now. We do have a single draw that gets us out of this, but Zero many faces. Does that do anything for us? Not especially. So I can play that. I can play that. Draw a load of cards. Nope, that's game. We're out aggroed, and that's the problem with wizards. I've done a lot of losing. I think we're going to change that after this. So, I have 2 versions of Super Friends. We're going to play the ramp version of Super Friends. What is Super Friends? It is basically all the Planeswalkers. All of them. The only Planeswalker I don't have is the one I've actually picked up recently, so let's just go and... not that. Multicolored. And let's see if we can find her and see if she's actually any good in this deck. Gain life equals the greatest power among creatures you control. Not really. Create a dinosaur. Okay, maybe. Deal damage. Well, it's not terrible, so we're going to put her in the deck. Probably over the Glorious Rebirth, in all honesty. Though maybe we go down to Ship Mage. That feels bad, but we'll do it. There are many, many problems with the Super Friends ramp deck. It's now 5 color again, which it wasn't originally. But you can't not like the Super Friends deck. When it works, it is just awesomeness to behold. But it fails a lot more than it succeeds. And we're up against a gold ranked player, so this is almost certainly going to be a tier deck. Is it going to be blue-black control, which we actually would stand a chance against? Or is it going to be something else? Ramanump Red or something horrible? Well, I've got 2 lands. I've got Adventurous Impulse to find another land. Gift of Paradise. I think I've got to keep this on the basis it can get there. But it's going to take a while. White. I'm wondering what we're up against here, and it might be tokens of some kind. It might be vampires. It's probably vampires. Okay, so let's go for an Adventurous Impulse. Find a plains. Play a plains. The longer it takes him to get set up, the better chance we have. Because next turn I can Gift of Paradise, which gives me mana fixing. Can then go for Wrath Caption, Ship's Mage, and then I can start at least faking stuff. So Gift of Paradise on this land, gain 3 life. We also have Urza's Ruinous Blast, which is nice because we can do it at instant speed with Caption. which is sometimes a good option against tokens. He might not be playing that kind of deck, in all honesty. We also have 3 oaths, which is terrible. Alright, we'll play Caption, see what happens. I'm expecting removal spell, actually. Bishop of Binding, so that binds that. Okay, so play a Forest. We will then play Oath of Teferi. We will blink our Sunpetal Grove. Doesn't really do much in this situation, but it does mean if we get to a Planeswalker, they now activate twice. Angel of Condemnation. So this is just exile everything. Yeah, that's quite big. Okay, Gideon of the Trials is okay. Yeah. So what I can do now is I can Gideon of the Trials. And he has 2 effects. This one, however, prevents all damage dealt by something.
I don't think so.
So we can prevent that. And we can prevent that.
I've got you.
So both his creatures do no damage. We can then, next turn, turn him into a creature and start beating down with him, or we can go put the emblems, not win the game, and just try to just stall this out a little bit. Oh wow, that's big. Okay, so that's the game, is it? Urza's Ruinous Blast. So this is legendary, so we couldn't do anything about that, but we can prevent all damage that deals.
I don't think so.
So that's fine. We can then go for the emblem. So as long as Gideon exists, we can't lose the game. And he can't attack us with this. And as long as we can keep Gideoning this, I think we're okay. But that means he's got some insanity planned. Yeah, so he can exchange his life total, which is 20, for that creature's power. So this becomes a 24. A 20 power creature with a lifelink, which gains him 20 life. Which then escalates. And he's got the cast out. That's annoying. That also means we kind of have to block this. How do I get around this one? If he's got any removal spell for this shit's mage, I just lose. The good news is I can play Oath to Teferi at instant speed to save it, but it doesn't come back until the end of turn. So at that point, it's kind of redundant. As long as he's got 4 mana spare to do this. Yeah, I have to block. Cast Oath of Teferi. This has the advantage. He's now blocked. So whatever I do, he is blocked. I can then choose which one of these to keep, and then I get to blink this. So it stays around for a turn. So we'll keep this one. Exile that until end of turn. He is blocked, and he'll still be around for next turn. And we can do this trick one more time, and I need a Planeswalker that can kill this. Excellence Binding. Oh, that's terrible. If he'd played that first, he'd have just won. So he's showboating. In fairness, I could have saved it, but... That still comes back end of turn. But I'm now no longer allowed to play cards with that name. Shuffle. I've got a block next turn. I will not have a Ship's Mage after that turn. Put an island into play. Pass for turn. Because I have to block that. And if he's got any kind of removal spell, we just lose on the spot. I suppose I should have... If I'd have attacked him, we'd have survived regardless, but... But I don't have a second trick. Not this time. And he's now up to 24. Crested Sunmare. Nah, GG. Ah! Just did not draw a Planeswalker. And we're down to silver 3 as well. Sad face. Also, that doesn't count as killing his creatures, annoyingly. Alright, one more game with this, and then we move on to some silly things, I think. Is this the same guy? I can't remember who I played originally, but let's hope it's not the same guy. Or if it is, that we have a better draw. Gideon's good. Gideon was okay in that matchup, actually. Unfortunately, we cast out some things. He's also mulligans, I think. Nope. Alright, so we have Adventurous Impulse and Gift of Paradise, but the wrong lands. We do, however, have a treasure map, so we can scry ourselves out of trouble. Oh, was he gone for a one-lander? Why would you keep that? Well, that's how you win with Super Friends. You play 2 lands and hope your opponent kept a one-lander for reasons known only to him. Yeah, I've won 2 matches. Ugh. It's because I'm trying to play all these silly decks. Alright, Shadowhawk versus Memory Lapse. You don't keep a one-land hand in this game, not unless you're playing something extremely specialist. The only no-lander I ever kept was in Mirrodin block, and I was doing something experimental, and most of my stuff cost nothing anyway. Okay, it's not perfect. In fact, I should probably mulligan this, because I don't have... If I had a green source, I'd be fine. Got a mullet. Yeah, can't keep that. Alright, that's keepable. And Ship's Mage on top. We probably actually want the Ship's Mage. So we're going to end the turn. We can't do anything on 1 mana anyway, so I'm okay with keeping it until we draw. Now we'll crack that. Get ourselves an... no, we'll get an island. Woodland Cemetery tapped. Enter. So next we Plains Gift of Paradise. I'm not sure what our opponent's on at the moment, but we're doing okay here on our own. So we're now up to 4 mana. If we draw a land, we can just go into a Teferi next turn. Or we could play Oath of Teferi and then try to Hero of Dominaria next turn. With 2 triggers. We'll see. We've got options for this. So red-white, he's playing a Resolute Survivors deck of some variety. Alright, that's not perfect. I can flash this in response, but I'd rather have had another land there. So I'm going to end the turn. We also have this thing. This thing is interesting. Yeah, so we're just going to run this out and block. He might have a kill spell, actually. If he's got in the braid, then he can just destroy this. Lightning Strike? Okay, that's fine. Gave it a shot. That was going to happen anyway. Sunpetal Grove. Okay, now we can go Oath of Teferi, then that. Or we can go to Teferi, put that into the deck. Actually, that might be better.
I can no longer stand by and watch.
So that now goes 3rd from top of his deck. So eventually he'll draw it back, but we have some time. And if this Teferi is still alive at the end of next turn, we can Oath of Teferi and just start outdrawing him. Alright, that Teferi's dead.
You just let me know if you're up to it too.
We're making this better. Alright, Oath of Teferi it is then. Exile that, bring it back. So that's 2 draws. Next draw is the Resolute Survivors. The good news is if we get Varaska down next turn, that suddenly saves us a lot of bother, because we can then start making pirates. We can then start destroying random things that he plays. And he hasn't shown a lot. He probably has a fair amount of kill spells, but we're on 20 life. And if worse comes to it, we have this coming up. Crested Sunmare. Importantly, other. Very importantly, other. So he's doing some life gain shenanigans, is he? We're going to destroy the Crested Sunmare because I do not want any more darned things. We will then make a pirate. He can do some stuff around this, but if he does kill this, we've got a second one. And if we draw another thing, that gets us back Ship's Mage and Teferi. We can actually cast it next turn because of this treasure, though we may want to wait. Because, of course, if he kills Varaska, we get all 3 back, and then that's suddenly very good times. He can do 3 damage, so if he's got a burn spell as well, he could kill Varaska. If he can't, suddenly we're looking good. Alright, so he's gone for the attack, is exerting, so he thinks... I think he can kill Varaska here. Lightning Strike. Oh, this is going to be such a good turn. Resolute Survivors. So that's the card he played. So he's tapped out. Glacial Fortress. Oh, I can only do this if I have a legendary spell. Ah, darn it. Alright, Varaska number 2. And I think, again, we're going to destroy Resolute Survivors this time. Make another relic. Make another pirate. Attack for 2. Okay, I forgot this is a legendary sorcery, so we only play it while we have a legend, and this doesn't count as a legendary creature. Still. Needletooth Raptor is interesting. So what's in the graveyard here? So I can actually go -3. Destroy that to make a treasure. +2, make a pirate. Cast Primeval Glorious Rebirth.
Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Keep this version of Varaska. +2. +2. So she's now at the point where we can just do that every turn. Put Arncrop Crasher third from the top. And draw a card.
No time for a break.
Combat. And untap 2 lands. Fortunately, we have no more Legends Goblin instant speed, but he's down to 1 life next turn. Oh, that's what I mean. Super Friends is amazing when it works. So he's going to be on 1 life, facing down 6 attackers. Yeah, I think we just ultimate. Your life total is 1. Super Friends! We can actually earn some kills with that one. Alright. So we're 9 kills away and 5 green or white spells. Alright, let's move on, because I've got a few other... I keep going to packs rather than decks. A few other things here. So I think we'll save this to last, and we're going to use Vamps for the moment. So Vamps is kind of my attempt to build something that is a reasonable tier deck. It's okay. It's not great. It's not quite as optimized as I would like it. I need another couple of Radiant Destinies. I'm using a Ketra's Monument as sort of the backup for that. Doesn't really do the same thing, but it still floods the board. Again, we're running Anointed Procession, Ixalan's Binding, Call to the Feast, plenty of token generations, Champion of Dust to draw a bunch of cards, 1 copy of Vona because it felt it was worth 1 copy and I only have 1. So I'd like some more Sanctum Seekers, but again, I only have 1 rare slot left. But it's okay, and he has plenty of white spells, which we need. So let's get on with the vamps, and we will end on rats. Because rats is ridiculous. Now we're playing a gold rank 4 player. He's only 2 ranks above me, actually, so this is... It could be an even match, although I'm not running a fully optimized vampire deck. We'll see what he's running. Vamps at least has a reasonable shot against Remnant Pred because it does have life gain, which can be relevant if they run out of steam. It's the one weakness of Remnant Pred is that they will sometimes run out of steam before you get there. This is risky, but... In Fury, I've got Adento Vanguard into Legion Lieutenant into Marvin Fane. If I can draw another land, it'd be perfect. And my opponent is mulliganing 6, so that at least increases my odds of getting something from this. He's still going first, though, so his 6 might be good enough. Okay, no information and another 2-drop. I think that's the problem I got with the deck at the moment. I might have too many 2-drops. Adento Vanguard, though, has been such a power card for me of recent times. That's also a good draw. Adento Vanguard. So this thing can pay... I can pay 4 life to make it indestructible, which can be relevant. Also, when it attacks, it gains 2 power. So all the white cards... Baffling End. Okay, that's fine. So this removes a creature with convert mana cost 3 or less, and removes it. If we ever get rid of this, we... Yeah, if we ever get rid of that, we do gain a free dinosaur, though. And we have a second Vanguard. Yeah, he's playing... Oh, actually, no, maybe he's not. Maybe he's just playing the Full Aura deck. Okay, that's a pain. So this can't attack or block. My turn. We'll play a Ketra's Monument to start with, so white creatures now cost 1 less. And whenever we play a white creature, we gain a token. So Mother of Dust now costs 1. Okay, that's annoying. And there's the Anointed Procession. Okay, so let's go Mother of Dusk. Make a token. Go Forerunner of the Legion. Make a token. We will take an action. And we are going to put a... What do we actually need? We actually could do with a land rather than these for the moment. Maybe put another Adento Vanguard, because those are kind of useful anyway. End turn. So we've got plenty of attackers for next round. And he's going on the Aura plan. So we're basically trying to race him at this stage. If we can get one more land, which is another reason I wish we hadn't done that, we could have potentially Ixalan's Binding this. And it's still our general win plan at this stage. Ixalan's Binding do that. It's now a 5/5. Next turn we can at least pump the team by using Legion's Lieutenant. But we're always losing a race against life gain. So that costs us 1. We're going to give Myra Dusk an extra point. We'll then play Marvin Fane. Power up the Forerunner of Legion. We will go to combat. We will attack with absolutely everything. And since another vampire has entered, we can pump. It's probably worth just giving an extra point of power over here for the moment. Because ultimately, we're trying to either swarm the field to an extent that he just loses, in spite of his incessant life gain tricks. And next turn, we can just play Legion's Lieutenant as well, which might be enough at that point. We're getting there. 21, though. And if he doesn't attack with this, it loses power. And it's getting to a stage now where he needs some more than one answer. We've gone too wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Plays no Squire's Devotion, so he's up to 7 now. So I guess that does mean we're dead in 2 turns. If I don't draw a land to Ixalan's Binding it, that will just be game if we pull this off. So it's whether he can stall that much, actually. Resolve. The good news is we're gaining some life as well, so we're not dead in 1 attack. Okay, he does draw a card here. My turn. Yeah, it's got to be Legion's Lieutenant, unfortunately, so pump the team. Give the Lifelink Vampire some extra power. Combat attacks, attack with everything. Another creature's coming to play. Power up the life gain Vampire even more. My creature's getting very, very tiny. And at least we're gaining some life here. I feel this is a race we can win. Just. But it's looking... I don't know. Looking tricksy. Big life gain Vampire is probably our best friend right now. Actually, land off the top would be even better. That's the one thing I could have probably done there. Dust Legion Zealot and then that. But also, Anointed Procession has been kind of dead. We've tokened out without it. With it... Well, we don't have a 3rd land, so we couldn't have played it. But he has gone into mass timeout mode. I don't think this is lethal, though. 10... 17, 21. That's 21 damage. Next turn, he is dead. If he can't do something or finish me off. I've got blockers, enough blockers face down to deal with this, though. I've got all 4 of these, which are vigilance anyway, plus the extra stuff I made. So he's just going to max out his... Yeah. Whatever is possible. He's up to 29. Down to 15. I'm up to 12. End turn. So at most I'm down to 4, and then I've got another 4/4 attacker potentially. So I can then definitely Dust Legion Zealot. Cost me a life, gains a life. It'll be fine. I think what he was looking at there was whether he could get away with killing something, but we'd have let the Vanguard die at that point. If he can't finish me this turn, I don't see how he wins. Desert Soldier Lifelinker. Okay, that's fine. He goes up to 18. Buys him a little more time. Embalms the cat. We knew that was coming. Attacks for 7. Goes to 8. If we top deck another Legion's Lieutenant, we probably just win. Okay, so I can go for Forerunner of Legion. Forerunner of Legion, double pump the Vampire, which is all I can do here is just gain a lot of life. Can I gain 5 life, though? Is a good question. Because this costs the same. Go down 1. If I draw another land, that probably does it. But... Oh, this is close. I mean, if... Alright, let's Dust Legions out. Let's go for gold here. Target creature is going to be the life gain Vampire. No, I drew another Darn Ixalan's Binding. Okay. So, if you can't actually... We'll see. There's a lifelink Vampire. There we are. Yeah, I think I just lose. Yeah, GG. I'll let him have it, but I had 3 lands and I did all this. Oh, he doesn't need to do this. He really doesn't need to do this. I have no way of gaining extra life anymore. Ah, one more land and I had this game. One more land. Well, I got my achievement and I get to open another pack of things. So let's just go for a pack of... let's go for Armor Cat. By the way, these are the cost for randomly for what the gems get you. And if you want to know how much the gems cost, there's the list. Gem Uranus is okay. I've used that in aggressive decks before. Okay, so the only thing I've got left, because I think we showed Vamps enough. They do the general token trickery that I normally do, and apparently they can do really well on free lands rather. Let's go for something that is absolutely ridiculous. So there's a card in Dominaria called Rat Colony. You can have any number of rat colonies in your deck. This gets +1/+0 for each rat I control. That's the deck. Actually, that is entirely the deck. I'm running these and some negates, and I might actually take the negates out because I don't think that's too relevant. There are some other rats, though. Not the human pirate. There we go. So we'll add in some ruin rats because they have death touch. And why not? Ultimately, why not? Well, I said Bonte's Monument, so it makes our rats cheaper. We have Gate to the Afterlife and Godfarer's Gift because what's better than 1/1 rats? 4/1 rats, or 4/4 rats, or whatever. And we have this. This is purely to try and just sneak around a few things. We'll cut 2 swamps. Add 2 swamps. That will do. Unless I have additional dual lands I can play. I suppose I could play Unclaimed Territory on Rat. So the only reason I would have to do it is to play that on Rogue, I guess, so maybe not. Nah, that'll do. That'll do. So save and exit, and we're going to play Rats. So the deck is entirely one card. We're playing more rats than we are basic lands. And we're playing against somebody who is in the upper echelons of this game, so yeah, this could be an experience for him if he's not seen or isn't aware of this deck yet. It can do some stupid things, and it can pull wins out just by the grind if the opponent's slow or just not expecting things. Heck, if I can pull off the Godfarer's Gift, that probably wins me the game. So here we go, that's fine. We're okay with this. Another land gets me Gate to the Afterlife as well on turn 2, so I can then go turn 1 rat, turn 2 Rat Colony, turn 3 Gate, turn 4 double Rat Colony, hopefully. If I draw 2 more lands. Worst fails, you keep playing rats. There's a rat. So if we play another rat, they become 3/1s. I imagine, though, he has removal. This is kind of what they do on turn 2. Nope. So I can get rid of a Gate to the Afterlife or a Rat Colony. Your choice. Get rid of a Rat Colony. Then we will Gate to the Afterlife. Actually, no. We will Bontu's Monument. Whenever we cast a creature, they lose a life. We gain a life. Also, our rats now only cost 1. The problem with this deck is we have no way of getting a lot of rats. We just have to keep top decking the things. Unless we Gate to the Afterlife, which does allow us to filter the deck a little bit, but... Kite Sail, he can take a rat, or he can take a... In fact, he's got to take a non-creature, so there's a Gate to the Afterlife for you, sir. Enjoy it. Tetsamok, you're going to kill our rats with a giant elder dinosaur. That's not fun, sir. That is not fun. We're going to Gate to the Afterlife here. We're going to attack because I don't mind putting rats in the graveyard, and next turn I can go Rat Colony, Rat Colony. Also, he appears to be stuck on land. Rat colony. Drain you for 1. Does he counter it? No. Rat colony. Drain you for 1. If I get 6 creatures in the graveyard, I can Gate to the Afterlife and then Godfarer's Gift Rat. Which somehow is even better. Give me my give me my Gate to the Afterlife back. Go on, give me. Thank you very much. I will, in fact, draw and discard. We don't need a swamp. I don't mind another Gate to the Afterlife, though, so we'll keep that. So 2 rats in the graveyard, 2 more, and we can flip Gate to the Afterlife. Or we can just beat down with rats. He's got a counterspell, but he's desperately after that 4th land. This is the only card draw in the deck, by the way. It also does give us some life, which is sometimes relevant for just stalling out the game. But we have this. Our entire strategy is now open to him. He's aware of what we're doing. Problem is, he can Godfarer's Gift. He can actually go for a different form of Godfarer's Gift and just Scarab God back all of our rats. And they'd be better for him than they are for us. Getting rid of the gates, getting rid of counter spells. So mono black control, I guess. Alright, there we go. So rat colony. Drain you for 1. Play second Gate to the Afterlife. This now makes it much more likely that we'll just be spilling rats into the graveyard. That means even if he has an answer to 1, he doesn't have an answer to a second one. Okay, Scries in response. Desperately after 2 more lands for Tetsamok, I think. Does block. Down to 9. We will take the action. And we will take the action. And we have 4 rats in the graveyard, 2 rats in play. Ravenous Chupacabra to kill a rat! Oh, I think he's given us Godfarer's Gift. I mean, there's a good chance of it. Bonsi's Monument, which you wouldn't have wanted anyway. Ruin Rat. Okay. That's 6, isn't it? Godfarer's Gift. Go to combat. Bring a rat colony who's a 5/4. It's a rat zombie! Also, I gain a life. I draw a card. I discard the card. In combat. I have a turn. And if he ever kills Godfarer's Gifts, I can search it again with Gate to the Afterlife. Unfortunately, I don't have a second. I only have the 1 Godfarer's Gift. He can play Tetsamok, but I can attack with 2/4/4. Yeah, this is done, I think. Rats! Glorious, glorious rats! Well, it keeps you alive for a bit, I suppose. I gain another life up to 30. If nothing else, I'm delaying him. If he ever draws Scarab God, it's probably going to end up being an interesting counter duel from there, but... Also, this does say non-token, so I don't get a card draw off of the token one. Draw, play a land, go to combat. This time, I think we're not going to bring back that. We're going to bring back the... We're going to bring back... Ooh, that would be fun, actually. Let's bring back Ruin Rat. This thing has Death Touch as well, so this also gets around his other Elder Dino if he decides to play that next time. But imagine he's trying to save 1 to do that. He can only do that during his turn, so... Because I only need to do 4 more damage, and I have a creature every turn. I'm not sure he's got a removal spell every turn. Especially as I can draw additional rats. And then I can make them unblockable. Okay, he's consigned Godfarer's Gift, but that doesn't do a lot because I can just instantly cast it on his turn. So, movie! No! Card games! Come on, card games! I'm winning with rats! If you'd have interrupted me earlier, I might have said yes. Okay, done. I'm going to go and activate It's the Afterlife. Which I could have done end of his turn, in fairness, but, you know, I'm going to be mean. Make him do it now. Which I can find from my deck, so there we go. Yeah. Kill my Ruin Rat. What do I care? I have rats! Lazy Zelda Dinosaur. I can exile... Where's the... Actually, he does have one, doesn't he? Yeah, get rid of Oblivion. I doubt that does anything, but... So let's revive... a rat. No attacks. So he still needs a creature. You can probably get one, because he can just revive his Champion of Wits. That was my secondary choice, in all fairness, and I probably should have taken that. Yeah, I could have stopped this. So he has two creatures, and he also has to block both of them. I'm waiting, however, for one thing, because I can always do this, and that will make one of my rats unblockable, because he's got toughness 1. At the moment... Oh, that was a mistake from you. Okay, I take 6. I win. Go to combat, revive a... For flavor, I'm going to revive that. They have haste, sir. Rats! I also killed enough creatures to gain the reward, so I have now 800 coiny things. I'm also 2 wins away from getting this, but I feel that's fine for tonight. I've played through most of the decks that I've built and run through. The video is going to be here for people who want to check that out later. But yeah, this was fun, and I'll probably do some more videos of this. Maybe I'll do another Midweek Madness next week. Won't be doing one after that for a little while because I'm in America, but hey, that's for an update video. So, thanks for joining me for those who did, and I will catch you another time. And no movie now. So, sleep now. Or at least preparations for sleep now. Besides, 2-hour film. I've got to be up at 6 in the morning. Card games previously. Movie later.